individual, HUF, AOP, BOI and AJP. So that's the fourth. I move to the fifth. The enhanced surcharge shall also not apply to capital gains arising on sale of any security, including derivatives in the hands of foreign portfolio investors. That paragraph again. The enhanced surcharge shall not apply to capital gains arising on sale of any security, including derivatives in the hands of foreign portfolio investors. I move to the next. Repeat that? I repeat the fifth point. The enhanced surcharge shall also not apply to capital gains arising on sale of any security, including derivatives in the hands of foreign portfolio investors. Shall I move to the next? In order to provide relief to listed companies which have already made a public announcement, I repeat, in order to provide relief to listed companies which have already made a public announcement of buyback before 5th July 2019, it is provided that tax on buyback of shares, it is provided that tax on buyback of shares in case of such companies shall not be charged. Can I move to the next and the last? The government has also decided to expand the scope of CSR 2% spending, the CSR 2% spending. Now CSR 2% fund can be spent on incubators funded by central or state governments or any agency or public sector undertakings of central and state governments and making contributions to public funded universities, IITs, national laboratories and autonomous bodies, all which are established under the auspices of ICAR, and ICMR, CSIR, DAE, DRDO, DST, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, all of which is included, engaged in conducting science, research in science, technology, engineering, medicine aimed at promoting SDGs. So that is something which comes out of the CSR, the Companies Act, but others were all related to income tax. So the ordinance will not include this CSR bit. I've just put that in here also so that it all comes in one place. The last and the most important line which you will be interested in knowing is the total revenue foregone. Right? The total revenue foregone. You want to know it or shall I skip it? The total revenue foregone for the reduction in corporate tax rate and other reliefs is estimated 1,45,000 crores.
Per year.
Per year. All right? All this is applicable this fiscal, so obviously it will have an impact. So that is my announcement prior to going into the GST.
Ma'am, how would you plan to meet your revenue target given such a high revenue foregone? Already we are seeing falling collections in both direct and indirect taxes. GST collections are not looking good. How do you plan to meet the two targets? Already you revised your targets from the interim budget in the budget you announced.
Timsy, thank you. Wait a minute. Thank you, Timsy. We want to have more investments and make in India. which itself means a lot more investment, lot more employment generation, lot more economic activity, as a result of which economy will give us more revenue. So this is not just a debate in terms of, oh my God, you've got this problem, your revenue collection, and therefore would you not want, don't do it or do it, is not the option. In order to strengthen Make in India, obviously.
Ma'am, the markets are definitely cheering the move today. Immediately, we've seen the markets positively reacting to the developments today. I want to ask you the fact that you've said that, there's going to be a positive impact on the economy as well. But what about the fiscal targets that the government has set out of 3.3% for this year as well? And also, with this move, we've come almost in line with the other Asian peers as well. So how do you, look to compete, and in which sectors are we looking at competing now in terms of manufacturing?
First of all, and that's the reason why you wanted to join Tim C on that first question, the idea is economic buoyancy will itself generate enough reasons for better income revenue generation. One. Second, the moment the taxes are brought down, you're also expected to widen the basket. So that is another reason why I think we will definitely be having a positive impact on the revenue collection. Yes, you're right in saying now we are almost at par with many of the Asian and Southeast Asian countries in terms of the corporate rate taxes. So as a result, when you're looking at the comparative rates, today we are probably one of the lowest and at par with the lowest in Southeast Asian countries. So I would like to again sort of remind, the rate at which we are now going to tax is 22%, and then for the old established companies, for the newer investments which are coming, 15% is what the slab is, the rate is. And therefore, when you calculate and other things, added surcharge and all that, you have different decimal points also getting added. But it is 22 and 15. 22 for existing and 15 for those who are coming in who will manufacture before 23. So that itself, 22 and 15 are the two numbers which I would like to drive home. 22 and 15 are going to now draw more new investments because of the 15 and make people who want to expand on the existing businesses, 22 should stand out. And that would be comparable with the lowest rates in this region and in Southeast Asia.
Good morning, ma'am. This is Girish from Mint. My question is, what are the conditions for availing the 22% corporate tax?
Well, do you want to explain?
Yes. Actually, only condition is that they should not be claiming any other exemptions. For example, today what kind of exemptions and deductions we give? For example, an unit is located in SEZ, or somebody is getting an accelerated depreciation. Somebody is spending in the R&D and some other fund. So in such cases, the companies who are such placed that after availing the such tax exemptions and deductions, if their tax rate comes less than 22%, then that company would not opt for this. However, those companies which are not claiming any deductions, so today they are also paying 30% tax rate. So now they will be taxed at only 22%. And so far as the new manufacturing companies are concerned, there the basic tax rate is 15%.
Yeah, that is why I said if you don't use any of the exemptions given, you're eligible for 22. Right?
I would just like to add here that those companies who are using exemptions, and as announced by Madam just now, that let us say their exemption period is over. Sometimes exemptions are given, certain deductions are given for certain number of years. So once that period is over, then that same company can switch to this new tax regime and pay at 22%.
So the moment the expiry happens, you can opt to come into this and benefit from 22%.
Ma'am, I'm asking you a local question. Basically, Goa economy is also slowed down because of iron ore mining has come to an halt. It was Goa was exporting highest in the country. So, anything you are looking at its restarting of mining activities in the state?
Well, on that I know there was a group of ministers who have met. In fact, the Chief Minister of Goa had come and participated in it. So the group of ministers have made some progress and they are discussing with a keen interest to restore something for Goa. So that is definitely on the agenda.
Ma'am, what is the effective rate of corporate tax today? One. Two, these incentives for these new manufacturing companies, is it open-ended or is there a period for which it is available? Is there a sunset period? And three, are we sticking to the fiscal deficit target that you have fixed for this year, despite all, you've announced a lot of measures which will have spending as well as tax implications. So are we sticking to the target for the year?
First of all, on the fiscal deficit,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can see each one of you really adding that as one another question that you want to ask. Yes, we are conscious of the impact all this will have on our fiscal deficit. And also earlier once, I remember one of you asking me, you had mentioned different rates in the budget time on the nominal GDP growth. Now, therefore, the numbers are different now. How are you going to look at it? We have quite ceased of all these details. We will be, as I said earlier, we will be taking all of them on board to reconcile as to how the situation is now and how we want to take it forward. We are not oblivious of these developments. And as regards the real, effective rate, the current effective rate and these rates, I'll request the Revenue Secretary to detail it out for you. No sunset.
Yes. I will just like to...
So in other words, open-ended.
Yeah, mention here that in India we had a current corporate tax rate was 30%. Now that rate has been brought down to 22%. Similarly, for new manufacturing companies, the tax rate was 25%. Now that has been brought down to 15%. So this is the major tax reduction which has happened from 30% to 22%, from 25% to 15%. And also one very important thing, that is the MAT rate, current MAT rate. The company which will be taxed at the rate of 22% will not have to pay any MAT because they would not claim any exemptions. Because earlier regime, one used to hear that whenever you have a lower tax rate, then in that or a certain exemptions, then one ended up paying minimum alternate tax, MAT, and that used to be 18.5% plus surcharge. Now that rate has been brought down to 15%. So this is the extent and magnitude of the tax cut which has happened. Yes, the effective rate. So let us say a company who was in the 30% tax bracket. Now 30% tax bracket along with the surcharge, it was going up to 34.94%. Now, because the basic rate itself has been brought down to 22%, then along with the surcharge, and we have also brought down the surcharge from 12% to 10% there. So this 22% basic rate and along with the surcharge, the effective rate is only 25%, 25.17%. So there also it is approximately 10 percentage basis points from 34.94% to 25.17, almost 10% basis points that has been brought down. Now, so far as the new manufacturing companies are concerned, there the basic tax rate used to be 25, and there along with the surcharge and cess, it used to go up to 29.12%. Now, for the new manufacturing company which gets incorporated after 1st October 2019
And starts manufacturing before 23.
March 23, the basic rate itself has been brought down by 10%, that is 15%. That along with the surcharge will pay only 17.01%. And so there the decrease is 12% basis point, 12% basis point. So
નિર્મલા સીતારામને પ્રેસ કોન્ફરન્સ કરી છે અને અનેક મહત્વની જાહેરાતો કરી છે. આ સાથે